Oh, Megan, it is Tuesday, the 4th of May. I'm not going to make that joke. Um, what a potpourri of crap today from you, which all sort of boils down to the same conclusion. But let's take it, one at a time here. We started talking about Bill and Melinda Gates announcing that they were divorcing after 27 years of marriage. And of course, you take your usual stand about um, you know, I don't think we should talk about other people's marriages. It's none of our business, blah, 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 which is um, just usually a cop out for you. But you did go through a little soliloquy to say something about how millennials have a different idea about sex and marriage by naming off, all of the woke relationships of your friends, the polyamory, the swingers, the whatever you listed. And, just because you weren't paying attention, and not that you ever are, millennials did not invent, non-traditional relationships. There have been swingers and polyamory and all myriad of of relationship building for many generations before you. Are you familiar with the 70s Key Party? Um, I think perhaps you didn't see it as a child because we didn't put that, desperately in front of you. But as an adult, you should be able to recognize that many adults before you and your crowd were doing a lot of different things um, that that millennials did not invent. Is it getting more commonplace and it's getting discussed more? Sure. It doesn't mean it wasn't happening. But you take the stance about, we really shouldn't be, in someone else's marriage or in someone else's bedroom, but you certainly belong to a party that tries to legislate other people's marriages and other people's bedrooms. So, you always talk about you're a Republican, you don't like big government, but yet as a Republican, as a supporter of the Republican Party, they have been staunchly against same-sex marriage. They were against interracial marriages. The Republican Party is still trying to now delegitimize same-sex marriages. So your personal belief about people in marriage certainly doesn't marry into the party that you, took a job working for and supporting as a persona of a Republican. So there's marriage. And then we talk about, the royal family, and are they, will they survive for the next generations, blah, blah, blah. And of course, uh, you start with, you'd rather eat a dirty old tire than have to talk about Prince Charles and Camilla because you find them incredibly boring. And you say you can say that because you're American. A Brit can also say the same thing. They're not going to get locked up. I don't know what you think about. You've said over and over again how much you hate the monarchy because you're a 70-76 girl, and history starts with America. So it's interesting that you take such a passionate, opinionated stance on something that you clearly say you pay zero attention to and don't have any interest in, which is also quite typical for you, Ms. McCain. And there was a delightful little whoopee smackdown about Prince Charles being actually very funny and very effective because she, of course, has met the man. You've never met him or Camilla or pay attention to anything. So how would you know whether or not he's interesting? So there you are, taking a strong stance on something you don't know anything about, and admittedly are willfully ignorant about it, but you're going to have an opinion. And then we get to Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has written a book. And I don't know. I think your tribal Republicans are going to be a little mad with you for chumming up to Senator Warren so hard. You, of course, start with a personal story and thanking her for reaching out while she was pregnant, or while you were pregnant. And I'm sure that your employers at ABC will be just thrilled to know that you said on air that you have so much faith and trust in them, you thought that they would fire you for being pregnant. I swear to God, you took a class in how to be a terrible coworker and how to be a terrible employee. Anyway, so you talked to her about childcare and how important it is, and you know, how do we get more Republicans on board? Blah blah blah. You know, this is something that's so important for the foundation of our country. But this is something that you very specifically said the other day is part of, you know, in the Democrats' agenda from President Biden's speech to Congress, that it's just part of the big check that the Democrats want to write for big government. Now I don't trust it. But a universal child care program is like the definition of what you call big government, yet you're all for it and want it. And you've decided that that's a thing that is good for the country, but you don't understand how other policies are helpful for the country. And the only reason you give a shit about childcare and paid maternity leave, which you didn't include paternity leave at the beginning, but you've softened on that one. It's okay for men to take time off too, get paid when they have a baby. The only reason you care about any of it is because it happened to you. You had a baby. You can't possibly, you know, since there hasn't been any, you know, racial injustice done to you, you can't possibly fathom how we could do better to fix it. So you've cherry picked this particular instance to be pro big government. You seem to be pro big government about abortion and telling women what to do with their uteruses, and pro big government to get rid of, you know, gays being married. It's just a general hypocrisy that you're skeptical of big government, but yet you want to use it when things affect you. It's like just the vast Republican hypocrisy. And I'm telling you, when you start talking about the things that you believe in people's relationships, the things that you think that are important for families, you don't sound so much like a Republican. Because I don't really think you believe all the things that the Republican Party stands for. And you're finding out that the Republican Party has moved on without you, that they are not interested in compromise or any of these things that you want to talk about. They only want to stonewall government, blame the libs, and make themselves rich. And you're all on board for making a living protecting that, yet while not actually believing what the Republicans in government are doing. So that's just one big bowl of hypocrisy. What a shocker.